Okay.
Yeah, you know, France, Hong Kong, Singapore. We're all the same
It's
in the
all
end of the day.
it's all in the same area, you know.
Philippines.
It's all
you
on the
know.
planet, you know. It's all on Earth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty close by.
In the grand schemes of the universe,
Doesn't take
it's-
that long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Good day.
yeah. We all have red on the flag and white
Mhm.
on the flag. Some of us also have blue. As we now kick off our second TVZ of the evening, having one is a treat, but you're telling me we have two in the same bracket? Dude, this. I hope we haven't used up all our luck this week. As we spawn to Dynasty, who are here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left. We of course have our blue Terran player coming out from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Cloud9. He's high. We have GuMiho.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have someone going for the gold base, rushing into the gold early on because we are in Dynasty and we have to spice things up. Representing Diamond Gladiators, it is a SHIN.
Diamond Gladiators, that's the other team that from the name, I assume they were Taiwanese or Chinese or something, but turns out they're Canadian.
There you go.
So, Canadian or Los Angelesian, one of those two.
So,
In my head, they're right next to each other.
yeah, it's the same place. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's all NA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big can it be, you know?
It's tiny. It's just
How big can it be?
yeah.
Doesn't take that long. To go from one place to the other.
As we do see GuMiho opening up 2x Reaper, so going for a bit of a beyond opener is going to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive, and with SHIN going for the gold, it is not going to be the easiest thing to defend both locations at once. SHIN, he scouts the opener with the Overlord, and his response is to throw down the Spine Crawler at the gold.
Yeah, this is, funnily enough, the safer option compared to taking your gold base behind the wall. You just need that additional room to reinforce and actually get on top of some of these range units that will be chipping away at your mineral line.
Yeah, as the first Reaper does go down. Now, usually if you rush into this gold base, it's for a Roach all in, and there it is, Roach Horns on the way. Checking the vision of GuMiho, he did get eyes on the building structure, so GuMiho is aware of the Roaches, and we'll see how he responds. If this was beyond...
The wall's not a wall!
The wall is not a wall, Links, they slip in. GuMiho slipping up a little bit there.
I think that was I'm not sure what it's called, but I think that was a little hint when you said, if this was beyond, yes, that wall would be a wall.
There we go. We have to throw down the bunkers on the other side to protect the add-ons, of course. We need a Marauder production as soon as possible as well. Otherwise, without them, how do we deal with those Roaches, especially considering the GuMiho did go for a 3cc follower?
Yeah, very economic. He's putting himself behind by quite a bit. You look at the army supply difference right now, and it tells you pretty much the whole story.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough defense here for GuMiho. We have to pre-pull the boys as well. Only one bunker is also quite risky here for GuMiho as well, as here comes the Roach Ravager. Ideally, we would want 2 bunkers and like 6 SCVs to repair, or even like 4 to 5 SCVs to repair. Just the lone bunker is going to be a tight hold. We'll see if SHIN can break this. For now, only 2 Ravagers, thankfully. Not too much to work with.
Yeah, this one Marauder has a lot of work to do. Now we have a couple more Marines getting thrown into the mix. We have these SUVs on standby to repair the bunker. But of course, repairs, they ain't free.
Gonna be able to keep it topped up at the same time. SHIN is still not getting eyes on the expansion on the gold base, still just chipping away at the main army. SHIN is droning up behind this, is saturating his bases.
Yeah, so it's kind of an all-in, but not really. It would have been an all-in if there was an opening here for SHIN to go all the way into the base, but yeah, for now, he's content with just containing GuMiho on these 3 bases.
Yeah, again, he's just forcing some more repairs. Meanwhile, the Reapers are coming from behind. We're collapsing on top of these Corruptors. Top of these Ravagers.
And the ground Corruptors, if you will. A lot of them starting to go down. And that was not a good trade at all for SHIN.
Yeah, exactly. A very nice move here from GuMiho, coming in from behind, trading out with some Ravagers. Looking at the units lost here, Marines for Ravagers. The gas trade has been so efficient here for GuMiho, and he holds well.
Yeah, and he also, on top of all of that, has his gold base earlier on. We were worried for GuMiho. We thought that he was going a little bit too economic, neglecting his army, his defenses a little bit too much, but I guess not. GuMiho, he just knew. He knew how to defend with the bare minimum, and now he's going to be running away with his economy.
Yeah, at the same time, Reapers are diving to the main. We get 4 drone kills already. We got a full scout as well, confirming that there is no upgrade on the way, confirming that the lair is not quite done. We're going for the lair at the goal base location, but alas, still not quite complete. And SHIN, it looks like he is focusing on droning up and trying to get into the mid game, which will favor GuMiho.
Yeah, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that worker count here for SHIN, as 45, it's not bad, but we have seen it multiple times in the past. Zerg players stop droning at 45 and instead just focus entirely on getting ready for round 2 of their roach push.
Yeah, as GuMiho is just securing himself. Likewise, SHIN knocking down those rocks, is investing quite heavily here into this Roach Ravager, and my eyes are on SHIN because we have droned up to 47. We have not made a worker in quite some time. We're doubling down on Roach production, and SHIN may indeed be going for an all-in.
Yep, that's 11 roaches currently in production. We're stopping at 47, which is a luckier number than 45, so... Yeah, that's the extent of my analysis.
There you go. We'll see how lucky it's going to be. We dive on top of the roaches. 2 roaches going down. Not a bad pick off here, but ooh, bit of mispathing out of GuMiho. Bleeds out a lot of Marines.
Bleeds out a lot of Marines. Bleeds out a couple of Marauders. There are no medevacs with this army, so this was a little bit of a gamble for GuMiho coming across a map like this, but unfortunately he didn't quite win. Wasn't quite able to make it worth it. Thankfully, he won't be going home empty-handed, as he was able to conserve most of his army, and now we have medevacs to help sustain. But look at how overstim a lot of these units are.
Yeah, the bunker goes down. We're getting on top of the main army, and the upgrades are exposed. Combat shields, it's going to be denied just barely in time.
And now the roaches are knocking down the door. Barracks is starting to go down. The wall, well, I guess it was never a wall to begin with, but it's even less of a wall now. Thankfully for GuMiho, we do have this tank in the high ground, and we don't actually have vision on it, so no vials available here. Oh, now we do.
Oh yeah, the Overseer comes in from behind. We knock down that tank, and there's almost nothing left here at the natural again. SHIN just doubling down on that all-in. Now is droning up, but the damage has been done. The vials, ooh, they connect. They rain down to the SCVs. GG gets called, and SHIN takes the first game.
Nicely done here. Yeah, GG. It was really impressive, I think, for GuMiho to have defended against the initial wave of roaches, especially with just how economic he's been opening up. But unfortunately for GuMiho, SHIN was not done after that. GuMiho, he thought he was safe. He thought that since he deflected the initial rush, there's no way he would go for a follow-up all-in. He thought wrong.
Yeah, SHIN, he just went for a later timing instead. As a reminder, cutting workers at 47, just doubling down on purely Roach Ravager. It wasn't just that, it was also him catching the army out on the map as well. So GuMiho, he bled out a lot of Marines and Marauders as the all-in was coming. And of course, he just wasn't ready for it back at home. Only 1 tank to defend, and no Banshee production either. Like, we just had very little to work with. And GuMiho caught with his pants down.
Yeah, caught with his pants down. Which, you know, is appropriate for the stream, but not really what you want if you want to win.
Not ideally as
Oh, can I get in? Can I? Streaming data. Entering lobby. We're in.
Yeah, we have our lobby. We're jumping into our game and just letting our lovely casters know where we are in this series. So getting ready for game.
Yeah, look.
Number 2.
Indeed, we are. It looks like Bjorn versus Classic that did wrap up. Bjorn taking out Classic 2-0. Ooh, okay. Classic on a little bit of a roll, but Bjorn coming in and taking him down right when he extinguishing his flame, right when he's starting to get pretty hot. So, yeah, really good results here for Bjorn, and puts us one step closer to an all TVT semifinals.
We're getting there, but we need GuMiho to take the series for that to happen, and I'm hoping that we can at least have an ace match. I'm hoping we can get to Game 3.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. Here we go now, continuing our series on Site Delta. Over here in the bottom right-hand quadrant, spawning all the way in the bottom right, we of course have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea. He is of course going to be representing his team Cloud9. We have GuMiho.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaimin Gladiators. It is SHIN. Going for a 15-15.
Okay. So we'll see if this is purely for safety, or if he is going to commit to playing aggressive against GuMiho.
Yeah,
so the game. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm not sure how much you can really glean from game number 1 if you're SHIN, because of how GuMiho is playing, since obviously that is Dynasty. It's a little bit more of a unique map. It is a map that allows players to open up a bit more economic and still be safe like that, but yeah, we'll see if things are going to be different here for SHIN.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good read out of SHIN. So basically, 15-15s are really safe openers. They allow you to get a faster queen, they allow you to get faster lings, and they're ideal against something more aggressive like a 2x Reaper. Meanwhile, 2x Reaper, after what happened in game 1, are also a lot more common here on Site Delta because of the ramp coming into the natural, so you're that much more secure here with this setup. Likewise, because the spawn location, this time GuMiho's add-ons are going to be safer as well. So he assumes that GuMiho is going to go for 2x Reaper, and he assumes correctly.
Yeah. It's an educated assumption.
Yeah. There you go. True.
Yeah. He's using his brain. I can't believe it.
I mean, SHIN has the biggest brain in Korea.
That is true. Is it possible to unlock this power?
No.
Oh. I thought you were gonna be like, not for a Terran player.
Oh my god. Calm down, yeah. Calm down. As Reaper does get across the map, we're going to force out a Spore Crawler and a Gas Geyser as well, but the Queen does rock up, and we will defend our middle line. We will deflect the initial Reaper.
Yeah, not too much that GuMiho can really confirm from this. I mean, he can kind of infer from the timings and the drone count that SHIN went for a hatch first at the very least, but yeah, not too much to figure out from here on out.
Yes, GuMiho, he does poke the front door here, but doesn't quite find a way in. Likewise, Lings are in position over towards the north, and the Reapers will not quite... Oh, they just actually try to force their way in.
Yeah, they managed to squeeze through those little gaps of the Lings. I believe GuMiho was able to get eyes on that spawning pool.
It looks like he will now, as he gets behind the mineral line. Does confirm that the gas has been spent on Link speed. At the same time, Lings, they try to catch the Reapers, but GuMiho does slip out.
Like, so I believe he also confirms that that SHIN pulled out a gas. So he should be feeling pretty safe as we get into our mid-game.
Yeah, really important, especially because 15-15s is not uncommon to rush into roaches with this build. So, as you said, GuMiho now knows he's safe and sound. He shuts down the Overlord. It will fall. And behind this, GuMiho is going to be embracing a 3cc 2-1-1 as that starport is on the way, and we're already moving out with our Marines.
Like so. And it's actually quite a bit that you can try to get done here with Stimless Marines like this. All depends on your positioning.
Yeah, it's important that you just pointed that out, because I just assumed that Stim was on the way. We skipped the add-ons.
We did. We skipped the add-ons despite this being the absolute perfect position to get him.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, it allows us to get another Overlord, which is nice with this Marine move out, but this does mean that the eventual medevac drop timing is going to be a little bit less impactful here, as we're not going to have Stim or combat shields or anything. They're going to be vanilla Marines. We're going for an armory.
Oh boy. We're gonna get Hellbats. We're gonna get Hellbats and Marines? Because GuMiho's still making them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a vanilla Marine Hellbat push, which is an interesting way to go about it, followed up with potentially Banshee play as well. So it's a very chaotic build overall, but GuMiho is moving out, and this is going to hit quite hard. And if the queen count is not high enough, we can break in.
We absolutely could. We are starting to get a couple of roaches out now, which is absolutely going to be ideal here for SHIN to defend against the Hellbats. I mean, typically, when we do see a Hellbat push, it's with Marauders. So in this case, I think the roach defense is going to be that much more impactful, but this is a huge supply block that SHIN is going to have to deal with.
Yeah, Queen is going to be going down. We have a transfuse, but it gets spent, and we have limited transfuse behind that. More Lings are on the way. We shut down every single Hellbat, and it looks like, can we barely hold on? We focus on the medevac.
And these Marines are ripe for the picking.
Yeah, if they were Stim Marines, maybe a different story, but the Vanilla Marines are going to be cleaned up. They take down another Overlord. Once again, being a nuisance here to SHIN, has to make another to replace it, but SHIN does hold, and SHIN does not lose any drones.
Yeah. That he does not. Looking at the units lost tab, SHIN only traded Lings, Roaches, and fewer Queens than I thought. 3 Queens going down, still not great, but for some reason I thought that was a lot more damage being dealt.
Yeah, so only 3 Queens were killed. We do have the GuMiho once again going for a hailing run by. Queens are in position, and we shouldn't lose too much here as we barely do Evo block. Ooh, as one Hellion does get into the mineral line. Behind this, we have a Spire at the natural. GuMiho did just scan. He did confirm the Spire. I'm curious if the Spire is going to finish, though.
Yeah, it could be a fake out. Could cancel it and grab a Hydra then.
Yeah, I mean, especially because SHIN knows that GuMiho saw it. That's the thing here. But we would otherwise see Evo chambers for upgrades. Alas, Aspire looks like it is going to finish, and SHIN, he's going to commit to at least a handful of mutas.
Huh. All right, well, we'll see what he can get done with those. I mean, the element of surprise is already not something that he can rely on anymore. So he's going to be relying a lot on control. He's going to be relying a lot on just bunching those Mutalisks up together and taking as little damage as possible from missile turrets or Marines. I say missile turrets, but actually we don't have any. GuMiho.
Yeah, this is getting interesting. Like, so GuMiho is going to be harassing with the initial Banshee. The mutas are on the way, and we are making quite a good chunk of mutas. It's going to be 9 mutas in production. We're following this up with a +1 range upgrade, so it looks like Roach Ravager is going to be the answer for SHIN, but at least initially going to be relying on these mutas and hopefully distracting and keeping GuMiho busy.
Huh. All right, they're all bunched together. They are making their way across the map. Once again, no missile turrets set up here for GuMiho.
Yeah,
no Widow Mines either.
Okay, the Banshee does confirm. The Banshee does confirm. Now we have turrets on the way, but as you mentioned, GuMiho, he saw the Spire earlier. No reaction. Maybe he just assumed that it would have been cancelled, and as a result, he's getting caught with his pants down. He's not quite ready for this mutas. They hit the main base, and the turret is not ready.
What have you done, Light? You're forcing GuMiho to play without pants, and yeah, this is a lot of... not that many SCVs going down, but still way more than really should have at this scenario. Thankfully, a couple of missile turrets did finish up at a third and a natural, but with good enough starter stepping here from SHIN, he can still get some damage done. Banshee goes down, tank almost goes down. That was a very hot pickup from GuMiho by the end there, but still 8 SCVs. That's 8 more SCVs that went down that then should have went down, 9 even.
Yeah, it's 8 SCVs, 9 SCVs, 1 Banshee, Hellion, Marine, all for 1 muta, so a very efficient trade here at a SHIN. And throughout all of this, he's building up his Ling Roach Ravager army. He's getting ready to lay siege upon what GuMiho has left. Ideally, SHIN also wants GuMiho to move out. For now, though, GuMiho is turtling back at him. He's trying to stabilize, but the mutas are not done.
No, they are not. They can tank a shot or 2 from these missile turrets. It's really the Marines that they have to be worried about right now.
It is the Marines as we do bleed off another one of those mutas, down to now 7 mutas. At the same time, GuMiho moving out, trying to catch them. Oh.
Not quite connecting, though.
Oh, he's trying to ferry them in, and he goes for the stim!
Yeah, fortunately, these are slippery mutas. One of them will go down.
Yeah.
But only one.
We got a muta.
Yeah.
And again, meanwhile, this entire time, GuMiho has not been able to move out. Finally moving out with a double drop, but back at home, SHIN, he's maxed out. He's already got full saturation. He's building up Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Baneling speed is now done. SHIN, he's ready for a fight.
And he's looking to get it, but he's looking for a fight, ideally in the middle of the map. There is no way that SHIN can really be able to push into GuMiho, but thankfully for SHIN, GuMiho is now moving out. He gets eyes on the army. And now he can maneuver.
Yeah, SHIN is getting ready. Now, these rocks are going to pose a bit of a problem. A lot of choke points are now created here by the map, and SHIN has to be careful with how he engages. Rocks are being knocked down, and ideally, SHIN, he wants to get a surround on this army.
Yeah, but we'll see if he's able to get it. Rest of the Mutalists trying to see if they can get anything done. They will end up going down, but they've kind of served their purpose already. SHIN would much rather trade them out to be able to get more Lings and Banes.
Yeah, and here we go. GuMiho now looking a little bit more exposed, is slowly pushing forward with those tanks, and I'm loving the spread here from GuMiho. But SHIN, here we go. We're coming in for, we're trying to come in for that surround.
Yeah, trying to, but we're also very much so off of creep. A couple of really good Baneling connections. The Corrosive Biles will land, however, but it is not going to be enough here as the reinforcements for GuMiho do rock up. Oh, a couple of Biles will connect.
That might
be just enough for SHIN to defend.
Yeah, we do need more Ling Bane. Only one tank behind this. Ling Bane is the only thing keeping SHIN alive. He's massing up as many Lings as possible. 19 Banelings are on the way. Biles, once again, they do connect. They almost take down a medevac.
Almost, but not quite. But even still, look at how little energy these medevacs have left. This bio army is very badly stimmed. SHIN, once again, he just needs one good connection. He will be able to bile down the tank. And he will be able to chase this army back once again, taking 0 economic damage.
Yeah, SHIN, he breaks out. May have lost the base, but he does break the army of GuMiho, and GuMiho was quite committed behind this, trying to get his 4 CC, but no saturation. GuMiho is still building up, and SHIN is once again looking to knock down that front door.
Yeah, well, he even forces the shed, question mark, to be lifted up. And if we're using the front door as an analogy. That fourth base is a shed, in my eyes. Decent split coming out here from GuMiho, but not going to be enough to overcome the sheer numbers. Or is it?
The Medevacs are out of energy.
It's not.
The Medevacs are actually just fully out of energy at this point. They cannot sustain themselves. We have a tank sieging up. Once again, the pile is about to be ready, and we can just shut that tank down and head towards the natural. Oof.
Yeah, tanks will actually get a couple of volleys off. Just enough volleys to chase back this Zerg army for now, but SHIN, behind all of this, he was already thinking about the next step. That is chitinous plating. Ultra armor getting researched on the way. 4 ultras are about to pop out, and I just don't see anything that GuMiho has right now that can really deal with them. Marauders, kind of, but Marauders can only really deal with ultras if, 1, you have room to kite, and 2, you manage to get a really good concave.
What's the name of ultra speed?
It's like cape something.
What?
Metabolic cape or something like that.
It is metabolic something. It is. Like, I didn't even know it. I think it's metabolic synthesis, maybe, but
synthesis.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that I can never remember.
I'll tell you, I've never metabolic that I never liked. So
there you go. But yeah, SHIN is remaxed. GuMiho is trying to stabilize, and if given time, GuMiho will be able to max out. But now the pressure's on SHIN. We should soon be moving out. Ideally, we're waiting for the upgrades, waiting for Kindness Plating to kick in, and then we can be active on the map once again.
Like so. Yeah, chitinous or chitness plating, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
Get some okay mine connections on some of the Banelings, but the main army is going to be forced back. At the same time, double drop towards the left-hand side is likewise cleaned up as well. SHIN is all over this. Lings on the way as well, trying to pull GuMiho apart. Up!
Wood of Mines will get some really good connections on these Banelings, but the Banelings are the least of GuMiho's concerns right now. SHIN now collapsing on top of this 4th base, planetary base. Oh! It's not metabolic.
It's not. But it was synthesis. Anabolic synthesis. There you go. There you go.
Who's that?
As we do turn back around, we got 20 SCV kills across the map. We land a fungal on the Bio Army, and without Medivac's support, we shut down the first army. We have reinforcements on the way. GuMiho is holding his own.
Yeah, this very Marauder-heavy army is ideal, or at the very least is better at dealing with Ultralists compared to Marine Tank. But it's still not the best. We can see GuMiho kiting as best he can, trying to target fire as best he can, but these Lings will pin down these Marauders and will allow a couple of volleys from the Roaches to take him out.
With that GuMiho, he's trying to hold on to the front lines. I mean, these are fresh medevacs, so now they're actually full of energy. Likewise, he's still steadying himself. SHIN fighting off of creep. These are not efficient trades from the Zerg player. He's actually bleeding out a lot of units.
Yeah, funnily enough. SHIN really insisting on fighting here in the middle of the map, which is exactly what GuMiho wants. He's off creep. He's able to get his concaves up. But one good fungal is sometimes all it takes to wipe out an army. GuMiho still has a lot of army supply left over, but a lot of that is in these medevacs.
Yeah, that's a lot of medevacs here for GuMiho, and that is inflated supply as a result. Meanwhile, Link counterattack doesn't get much done. This is the main. The main was floated as the 5th base, and hey, we have saturation. GuMiho, he's barely sustaining himself, barely holding on, but SHIN has now established that center base, and he can now focus once again on rebuilding and remaxing.
Gonna try to anyway. We even have hit borrowed Lings to be extra annoying, force out a couple of scans that could be utilized in as mules instead.
Oh yeah. Up! Oh my god. Yeah, some nice mine connections there from GuMiho as well, being a little bit cheeky across the map. Again, GuMiho does have the more efficient army, but unfortunately has no room to take into ghosts. As a result, these ultras are not the easiest to deal with. GuMiho does not have the ideal at the moment, still just working with Marine, Marauder, Widowmine.
Yeah, but you know what? You end up Widowmines. You can take out anything. Like a Zergling.
Okay, yeah, you can. Link did go down. Meanwhile, Widowmines are set up. We have a cheeky infestor not to get the fungal off.
I'm borrowed at just the wrong time, right in front of all these Marauders. Once again, a much better trade here for GuMiho, but I'm not convinced he has enough to keep this going if he's gonna have enough steam left over.
Yeah, we got another fungal, but it might just be too late. We drag in a mine shot, but the ultras are going down, the Ravagers are going down, and GuMiho is stimming in.
And these fungals at the end here are looking nice, but unfortunately for SHIN, there just isn't any follow-up. SHIN just spent his entire bank.
Yeah, SHIN, the bank is gone at this point. Too many rough trades for SHIN, too many fights off of creep as well. And GuMiho, it looks like he has brought it back. The power of the lifted main, he can barely hold on. Another fungal connects.
And the Marauders are trying to get on top of this. Widowmines not quite getting their connections here.
Oh my god. Yeah, barely another fungal as well. It's still a very close fight, but GuMiho should barely have enough. I say that Banelings are rolling in.
Banelings are starting to roll in, but they're rolling off creep as well. We have a couple of more Marauders, Ultras coming out. But we don't have those Infestors anymore. We don't have those fungals that can really lock down this bio army and allow these Ultras to get on top of them.
Yeah, you can see the Ultras that just melt before these Marauders. Efficient pickoffs here by GuMiho, and it looks like SHIN is running out of steam. He's running out of army. GuMiho has broken the back of SHIN. The base is going to go down. SHIN down to 1 base economy, running out of resources everywhere else. And GuMiho, he's brought it back.
Indeed, he has. He's up practically twice the supply, the army supply of SHIN now. GG's called, and GuMiho gonna be taking us to the ace match. GG.
Yeah, GG. Well played, GuMiho. He does tie up the series. We are going to game number 3. Again, a very, very intense back and forth. SHIN had a lot of momentum going his way, but was never able to really stabilize, was forced to take a lot of fights off of creep, and because of that, GuMiho was able to trade as efficiently as possible, and likewise was able to just barely maintain his economy as well. It was never ever like booming, but it was good enough.
Yeah. good enough to continue sustaining that Marauder production, good enough to continue pumping out more and more and more medevacs. At one point, I think he had 1 medevac per Marauder in that game. But yeah, very tenacious of GuMiho. I really thought, I was ready to discount him. I was ready to say that, okay, GuMiho's dead. He traded poorly after the initial counterattack from SHIN, and even though both players kind of traded an army for an army, SHIN was getting ready for something a lot more high-tech. He was getting Ultralists, he was getting Infestors. There was no way GuMiho, with only Marauders, Marines, and tanks, would have been able to hold, right? Well, he proved us all wrong. Well, he proved me wrong, at the very least.
Yeah, he barely did hold on. He stuck in it, and GG, well played. With that, we will be embracing an ace match, and we're going to be loading into one of the more macro and standard maps. We're going to be loading into Akione.
Yeah, indeed we are. And you know what that means, Light?
What does that mean?
We have confirmation on the other semifinals. There's still a chance that we get nothing but TVT.
Ah, let's go.
Yeah, Clem versus Oliveira going down in the upper bracket.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you kind of glossed over it, but Oliveira took down Estrella, Clem took down Creator. We have a Terran confirmed for the finals.
Yeah, potentially 2.
Yeah.
As we conclude our best of 3 quarterfinals here on Akione. Winner of this one map is going to move on to the semifinals to face Beyond in that other best of 3. But for now, we're going to have to figure out who it is. So we're here in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right. We, of course, have our blue Terror player coming down from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing his team, Cloud9. He's high, but we have GuMiho.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Gaimin Gladiators. Being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is SHIN. Go. And once again, GuMiho going for the Direct Reaper.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about GuMiho lately, but seems like it.
Yeah, every game so far, in this series at least, every game so far has gone for it, and we'll see if we can get some more damage dealt. If you recall, we weren't able to get too much in the previous game, but this time SHIN going for a standard hatch gas pool, and is going to be forced to be contained onto 2 bases a little bit longer.
Yeah, unfortunately for him.
At least that's
But
going to
we'll
be
see where this all leads up to.
That's going to be the hope for GuMiho.
Yeah, ideally. But we'll see where this all leads into. SHIN himself has been playing rather aggressively in both game number 1 and I guess not so much in game number 2, but that was more because he figured that GuMiho himself was going to go for a little bit of a 2-Rax Reaper, so yeah, played out a little more defensively until he was able to get those Mutas out. I completely forgot about the Mutas that game.
Like, there was a lot of chaos going on, right? It was the Mutas that popped off, even though they got scattered, like, just as the Spire got thrown down. Like, it was an early scatter to GuMiho, and he just wasn't ready for it. It was crazy.
And he just refused to acknowledge it. He was like, I see the Spire being built, but you're not actually going to use it.
Exactly. It's when you mind game yourself. And I don't blame GuMiho because I was expecting it too. I was waiting for the cancel on the Spire, and no, SHIN was like, no, I'm just going to make Muta, and he's just not going to be ready. And it worked. It was crazy.
Yeah. The big brain. Funnily enough, the sign of having a big brain is knowing when to not use your brain.
Exactly. It's just the 4D chess. He's like, I'm going to make Mutas because he's going to think I'm not going to make Mutas because he scattered so early, but really, I would just make the Mutas. Yeah.
I'm going to make Mutas because he thinks I'm not going to make Mutas because he saw my building that can allow me to make Mutas.
Exactly. It's crazy. The mind games. As GuMiho did invest into 5 Reapers. This is a big investment here for GuMiho. He did delay the third for a moment, did force it towards the left-hand side, but the third base is getting up and running, and GuMiho wasn't able to delay it for too much longer. Reapers are going to be dipping in, and SHIN does have quite a lot of Lings out on the map.
Yeah, but they are on the map, though. Shouldn't be too difficult for GuMiho here to kite against them with his Reapers, or run a couple of KD8 charges, and ideally not get himself surrounded. It's kind of finicky, funnily enough, with Lings. Sometimes you throw down the grenade, and then they get launched into the air and get a surround on you anyway.
Yeah,
or get an even better surround.
It can be quite risky. It can be risky. This time we can see that we're not headed into a Hellbat push. Remember, even last game it was a 2-on-1 without add-ons, like vanilla Hellbat push at the start of game 2. But this time we're rushing into the reactor, getting into stim. This time it's looking a little bit more standard out of GuMiho.
Yeah, we're getting stuff. KD8 charges are good, and the Lings are going to be deflected.
Lings are deflected. GuMiho getting into a 3cc 3-1-1 setup. Sure, Stim is about to finish, but the starport was delayed. We did prioritize a third Rax instead, so that means that the move out is going to be a little bit later, but it's going to hit a little bit harder as we're going to have an abundance of Marines to work with. So we'll see if SHIN can get ready for that. Back at home, just getting into a standard opener. We do have a safety Baneling Nest first. That means that we are delaying the lair here, so just really safe play out of SHIN.
Yeah. Doesn't want to throw it all away here in the ace match. He is the one hope that we have to deny nothing but TVT from here on out.
Yeah, SHIN is the non-Terran hope. So if you're a Protoss fan out there, if you want to avoid the non-TVTs, then SHIN is the one to cheer for. Otherwise, we're ready to TVT it up.
Yeah.
Aye.
Tearing it up, as they say.
Exactly, we are getting ready for that. Third base not being named with GuMiho, the army is moving out. Interesting that, fun fact, he actually left his Marines out of range of the Zelnaga, so they have not been confirmed yet. SHIN does not know how committed or how large the army is of GuMiho for the time being.
Chess is coming down again.
It is up.
Is he gonna hurt himself in his confusion, or is it gonna work out?
That's the question. As medevacs have arrived, now GuMiho can commit. Meanwhile, here on the high ground, we only have Ling Queen. Bailing's now on the way, and as long as we fight on creep, we should be okay.
Should, being the operative word, as we still have these 5 Reapers. That's still quite a number of KD8 charges, and quite a lot of crowd control potential. A lot of Banelings can be taken out before the fight can even begin. Nice zoning here with the grenades.
Yeah, so far good zoning. We can see SHIN trying to collapse on this army, trying to go for the surround, and it looks like, can he get it? He does collapse in. The target firing!
Oh, the target firing, though, is absolutely beautiful here from GuMiho, and it looks like, yeah, the surround is not going to be enough without that Baneling support. A couple more Banelings going to be finished up in the back line, but now we don't have any more Lings.
Yeah, the Lings were cleaned up. The base is denied. A very successful attack here out of GuMiho. He doesn't kill SHIN, but he does maim him, and as a result, GuMiho takes a massive supply lead.
That was absolutely beautiful. Coming out here from GuMiho. I wish I had that precise control. You know, I look at that and I think, oh man.
You look at that, you're going to try that next ladder session and the Baneling's going to connect and you can go lose everything. We've all been there. We've all been there. Baneling speed is about to finish up, so this is going to be a bit of an easier defense out of SHIN, but the spread is going to be good. We have a tank behind this as well. GuMiho has momentum, a lot of momentum on his side. Oh.
And a tank. Can it get a couple of good volleys off on top of the Banelings? The kiting is good. We do have one Baneling connection though, and that is going to be good enough to force GuMiho to pick up and evacuate.
As SHIN barely holds on, we can now establish a 4th base. Behind this, GuMiho is already on 3cc. 4th CC is in production as well at the 3rd base location, and the main push did fail for GuMiho, but now he's going for some split drop play instead.
Yeah, it was one of those things that you said, right? GuMiho initially there kind of chose suppress his advantage, but at that point he could do anything and still have the advantage. Wasn't quite able to keep up the momentum in the end. Did get deflected by SHIN, but he's still very far ahead.
Oh yeah, map control is in favor of GuMiho. The creep is looking decent in the center of the map, but it's going to be on GuMiho to deny as much creep as possible to clean everything up and get ready for the second wave. Meanwhile, SHIN, trying to stabilize, getting his 4th base back up and running, is playing catch-up in the economy.
They're gonna have to try to, at any rate. He's starting to drone up. He's got himself on 70 workers, which is not bad. But, of course, in order to get here, he did have to sacrifice a little bit of larva, sacrifice some of the larva that he would have much preferred go into his main army.
Yeah, at this point, Shin should be up to 80 workers and on 5 bases, but he's down a base, he's down in workers. GuMiho has a comparable, if not better, economy at the moment, and now we're pushing right through the middle. Creep has been respread somewhat, but still not ideal, and GuMiho is making his way towards that base once again.
Like so. Yeah, unfortunately for GuMiho, he hasn't quite scouted that southern base, which is a little bit more vulnerable, but either way, GuMiho's looking for a... not necessarily a game-ending fight, but a fight that will lead to the game-ending fight, if that makes sense. Yeah, he's looking for high value. He's looking for at least one base.
He is. We do see Shin trying to catch reinforcements and setting up for a surround as well. Meanwhile, the creep is receding. Shin trying to set up his own surround as well. I mean, I say surround. The rocks had not been shut down, and we do bleed out a queen.
Poor queen. Just wanted to shoot the tank. Tank's shot back.
Yeah, did just want to shoot it. Lings, they do force a lift, or at least they're hoping to force a lift on this CC.
Like so. Bio gonna be coming back home though to make sure that the CC can land, can turn into a planetary.
Yeah, and this is not gonna be an easy hold for Shin. Again, the rocks have not been thrown down, have not been knocked down, so we cannot actually surround the army. Bane can only come in from one angle here.
And that's absolutely ideal right now for GuMiho. He's playing this out very patiently. Outside of this third base location, my frames have just dropped massively. But here comes the full surround, or the attempt at full surround.
Yeah, we flanked the main army. We shut down the tanks. The reinforcements were they were just too little too late. We did need them a little bit earlier, and now we can actually break down the army.
Like so. Widowmines not quite getting the connections that they needed to get. Terran Army will discover this fifth base finally, and GuMiho will take it out.
Yeah, the base will fall, and we're gonna try to pick up and drop into the main. Hydras, yeah, they will zone away the army. They force back those metamax behind this. Shin is on 4 bases, and so is GuMiho.
Like so. Yeah, once again, not a terrible result, not a terrible trade here for GuMiho, but whatever advantage that he had earlier on is, I wouldn't say gone, but significantly diminished.
Yeah, GuMiho still has momentum on his side. Even though Shin has 85 workers, he's long-distance mining. He also doesn't have the Hive. Hive is just now on the way. So GuMiho still has a supply lead. He still has the army in his favor, and he's still pushing out. Can, of course, clear up all this creep. And he's just minimizing any kind of map control that Shin has.
Yeah, the creep at this point has receded greatly. It was never fantastic to begin with. I mean, GuMiho was just doing a really good job of clearing up creep here and there, but yeah, there barely is any creep outside of bases at this point.
Yeah, exactly. As GuMiho is going for a bit of a try-prone attack, he has the center of the map, at the same time pushing towards the Hive! The Hive is going to be targeted! Oh!
This is, yeah, such a risky maneuver for Shin to have gone for a Hive in that location, and it did not pay off for him. GuMiho takes it out and practically resets Shin's tech. Now he has to make a lair and then a Hive behind that. Lurker Den is about to finish up, but he's going to have only vanilla lurkers to work with.
Yeah, lair tech lurkers here for Shin. That was a massive snipe, and Shin is down to 3 bases, is reestablishing on the right-hand side. His economy is looking okay, but GuMiho is going to be able to outscale his opponent. 3-3 is on the horizon for GuMiho, and 3-3 is going to be heavily delayed for the Zerg.
That's kind of back upgrade. That it is.
Yeah.
Huh. You don't see it too often.
Meanwhile, the Ling Bane does collapse on top of the tanks. Tank's going to be going down, but the spread of bio is looking that much better here. We force back the army, getting into the mineral line, getting into the gold base. But here come the lurkers.
And a wheelbarrow right on top of this Terran bio army. There's enough of a buffer to keep them alive, and they are getting plenty of volleys off. GuMiho fighting in a choke point, which is exactly what Shin wants with his lurkers, but the reinforcements keep on coming, and the Marauders will take them out. A lot of army had to be sacrificed, a lot of Terran had to be sacrificed, but SHIN has lost his backbone.
That was worth it, as we do rally into the main army, but he killed so many lurkers. That was 7 lurkers going down. And again, there were Lairtech lurkers, so GuMiho took a bold decision there to fight within their range, and did target them all down. More lurkers have arrived. SHIN is barely trying to hold on.
Just barely hype. Now on the way. Notice Queen! Body blocked by his own banelings.
By her own babies. They just locked her down, and yeah, GuMiho was able to just shut that Queen down. We are building up that lurker count up to 5 lurkers, but again, we still don't have the hive. They still do not have, they're still lacking range, and we can focus them down.
Yeah, they're lacking range, they're lacking mobility, they're lacking. Tanks massively outrange vanilla lurkers.
They really do. Now we're down to 2 lurkers, 7 more lurkers on the way. The base is gonna fall, and SHIN is just up against the wall. He can barely hold on, losing hatchery after hatchery, and GuMiho, he's still maxed out. He still doesn't move in that supply.
And now he has Liberators. Freedom has arrived.
Yeah, we have no Vipers because we have no Hive. The Hive is just now finishing finally, but it's too little too late at this point. Link counterattack will deny the goal base, so some damage is being done. We do distract GuMiho for a moment, but SHIN needs a lot of time.
And Time just isn't on his side right now. Time is fighting in another match.
He's on the other half of the bracket.
Yeah.
Now, we do get a nice surround. As the GuMiho's army is distracted, we do catch a good portion of it, so that was a nice trade out of SHIN, but GG gets called. We don't even get the final fight, and GuMiho will take the series.
GG. Very well played here for GuMiho, delivering us the semis that were promised.
You know, Yaku, I was hearing you when early on when you're like, yo, ESL TVT Cup, and I was like, I mean, sure, maybe. I'm like, maybe, but I mean, Beyond has to be Classic, GuMiho has to beat SHIN, like, Oliveira has to beat Australia. Like, what are the chances that all that happens? It's happening. For the first time, maybe in the history of ESL Asia, we've covered a lot of ESL Protoss Cups, right? We've covered so many just purely PvP semifinals in ESL Asia. It's usually dominated by Protoss, but now dominated by Terran instead.
Yeah, I'm glad I was here to witness this historic, event. As we actually have another update on the map. We already have a finalist. Clem has taken out Oliveira 2-0, and he's going to be waiting for either Bjorn or GuMiho as his Terran opponent. We almost were able to cast 3 TVTs.
Almost.
But yeah, instead it's going to be 2.